Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we'll be talking all about the London E-Prix. So let's get into the final race weekend of the season before it restarts again in December. So in terms of free practice 1, in 20th was Verne, in 19th was Marty, in 18th was Maloney, in 17th was Gunter, 16th was De Grassi, 15th was Ticktum, 14th was Ericsson, 13th was Drugovic, 12th was Nato, 11th was Rowland, 10th was Cassidy, 9th was Buemi, 8th was Muller, 7th was Mortara, 6th was Da Costa, 5th was Dennis, 4th was Barnard, 3rd was Verline, 12th was De Vries, and in 1st was Evans. In free practice 2, in 20th position was Nato, in was Maloney, 18th was De Grassi, 17th was Cassidy, 16th was Drugovic, 15th was Marty, 14th was Rowland, 13th was Verne, 12th was Ericsson, 11th was Gunter, 10th was Buemi, 9th was Da Costa, 8th was Ticktum, 7th was De Vries, 6th was Dennis, 5th was Evans, 4th was Barnard, 3rd was Muller, 12th was Verline, and in 1st was Mortara. So how did they qualify for the first race? In 20th was Gunter, in 19th was De Grassi, in 18th was Maloney, in 17th was Nato, in 16th was Marty, in 15th was Drugovic, in 14th was Rowland, in 13th was Mortara, 12th was Barnard, 11th was Cassidy, 10th was Buemi, 9th was De Vries, 8th was Verne, 7th was Da Costa, 6th was Ericsson, 5th was Dennis, 4th was Ticktum, 3rd was Evans, 2nd was Muller, and 1st was Verline. So how did the first race go? In 20th was Maloney, in 19th was De Grassi. Neither of them finished the race. They both had awful time throughout the whole weekend, and it was a bad time for Lola. So Maloney crashed into a wall, and De Grassi, his engine just kept going. In 18th was Verne, who did not finish the race either, and in 17th was Marty, who did not finish the race. Those were a bit weird because there was no explanation ever as to why they did not finish, unless something escaped me. In 16th was Drugovic, in 15th was Nato, in 14th was Ericsson, in 13th was De Vries, in 12th was Gunter, in 11th was Muller, in 10th was Rowland, in 9th was Cassidy, in 8th was Evans, in 7th was Mortara, in 6th was Ticktum, in 5th was Barnard, in 4th was Buemi, in 3rd was Da Costa, in the 2nd was Dennis, and in 1st was Verline. In free practice 3, in 20th position was Evans, 19th was Nato, 18th was Maloney, 17th was Marty, 16th was Verne, 15th was Drugovic, 14th was De Grassi, 13th was Barnard, 12th was Muller, 11th was Rowland, 10th was Mortara, 9th was Da Costa, 8th was Dennis, 7th was Gunter, 6th was Ericsson, 5th was Cassidy, 4th was Verline, 3rd was Buemi, 2nd was Ticktum, 1st was De Vries. Now Evans had issues with his car, so he didn't get much running in, which is why, or I believe he didn't actually get any running done, or much of it, which is why he was in 20th. And now in qualifying for the second race, in 20th was Maloney, 19th was Nato, 18th was Rowland, 17th was De Grassi, 16th was Dennis, 15th was Ericsson, 14th was Verne, 13th was Drugovic, 12th was Gunter, 7th was Marty, 10th was Buemi, 9th was Da Costa, 8th was Ticktum, 7th was Cassidy, 6th was Barnard, 5th was Evans, 4th was Muller, 3rd was Verline, 2nd was Mortara, and then 1st was De Vries. And now to the final race of the entire season. How did the second race of the London E-Prix go? Well, for the final time in his motorsport career, De Grassi did not finish the race. His car did not want to finish the race either. So in 20th position was De Grassi, 19th was Ericsson, in 18th was Dennis, in 17th was Maloney. Dennis, Verline and Buemi or Ericsson had a crash, and Dennis had to have his front wing replaced. This was right at the very end of the actual race. In 17th was Maloney, in 16th was Ticktum, in 15th was Da Costa, who had very stern words to have with Verline. In 14th was Verline, in 13th was Drugovic, in 12th Muller, in 11th was Gunter, in 10th was Nato, in 9th was Rowland, in 8th was Marty, in 7th was Verne, in 6th was Cassidy, in 5th was Buemi, in 4th was Evans, in 3rd was Mortara, in 2nd was De Vries, and in 1st was Barnard, the youngest ever winner of a Formula E race. His first win of his Formula E career. He is probably the biggest award-winning driver in terms of breaking records, and this was just another one to add to his tally. So amongst all of this mayhem, what actually happened in terms of the points? Well, at the start of the weekend, there were 9 potential people who could win the championship, but then that all changed after Saturday, where it went down to 3, and that was Evans, Dennis and Wehrlein. And, well, this is how the overall Drivers' Championship ended. In first position was Wehrlein with 169 points. In second was Dennis with 164. He was 5 points behind Wehrlein. In third was Evans on 160. He was 4 points behind, although he finished ahead of Dennis and Wehrlein. That was still not enough for him to win the championship. In fourth was Roland, last year's champion, on 137 points, 23 points behind Evan. In fifth was Mortara on 137, in line with Roland. In sixth was Da Costa on 128, 9 points behind Mortara. In seventh was De Vries on 115, he was 13 points behind Da Costa. In eighth was Cassidy on 114, 1 point behind De Vries. In ninth was Muller on 102 points, 12 points behind Cassidy. In 10th was Buemi on 97, 5 points behind Muller. In 11th was Barnard on 68, 29 points behind Buemi. In 12th was Vern on 68 as well, who is 29 points behind Buemi, but in line with Barnard. And then in 13th is Marty on 66, 2 points behind Vern and Barnard. In 14th is Drugovic on 65, 1 point behind Marty. In 15th is Ticktum on 62, 3 points behind Drugovic. In 16th is Ericsson on 55, 7 points behind Ticktum. In 17th is Degrassi on 32, 23 points behind Ericsson. In 18th is Gunter on 23, 9 points behind Degrassi. In 19th is Nato on 23 points behind Gunter, and in 20th is Maloney on 3 points, 17 points behind Nato. It was not a season for him. But in terms of the team's championship, in first position was a Jaguar. They won the championship for the teams with 288 points. In second was a Porsche with 271 points, 17 points behind Jaguar. In third was Mahindra on 252, 19 points behind Porsche. In fourth was Andretti on 229, 23 points behind Mahindra. In fifth was Citroen on 182, 47 points behind Andretti. In sixth was Nissan on 157, 25 points behind Citroen. In seventh was Envision on 152, 5 points behind Nissan. In eighth was Cupra Kiro on 128, 24 points behind Envision. In ninth was DS Penske on 91, 37 points behind Cupra Kiro. And in 10th was Lola Yamaha on 35 points, 56 points behind DS Penske. And then finally, one that I don't talk about much but is still just as important is the manufacturer. There are only 6 manufacturers on a grid of 10 teams and 20 drivers. So in terms of manufacturers, in first was Porsche with 498 points. In second is Jaguar on 400. They are 98 points behind Porsche. In third is Stellantis on 292. They are 108 points behind Jaguar. In fourth is Mahindra on 251 points. They are 41 points behind Stellantis. In fifth is Nissan on 189, 62 points behind Mahindra. And in sixth is Lola on 85 points, 104 points behind Nissan. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Formula Amateur. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will soon come out with a video as to what to look out for when you're going to a Formula E E-Prix, because I attended the London E-Prix. It was very exciting and I would love to go again, so I'm hoping to do that next season at some point. So please check that one out when it comes out. Don't forget to check out my lovely colleagues on the Be The Change Media Network. Don't forget to check out BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com, and I will see you soon with a new episode. Goodbye.